What is the weirdest thing you are or saw someone addicted to? 1. My roommate in college was addicted to hair. She collected hair and made hair people. She would use the community vacuum cleaner, take out the hair, wash it, and make hair people. She would also go to salons asking for the cut hair for her family's garden, and then proceed to make hair people. She had hundreds of them with names and stories about them. I kept my hairbrush locked up after it was cleaned out the first time. 2. I had a good friend who was addicted to making himself pass out. He would ball up his fists and press them into the side of his neck to cut off blood flow till he passed out, the same way a sleeper hold works to knock people out. He had a whole routine where he would sit up in an office chair in his bedroom at night. He would get drinks and snacks, and spend a couple of hours there doing it over and over. He did it so much that he had permanent bruises on the sides of his neck that he would always have to make up excuses for. He said it felt good when you did it, but if you did it over and over for a while then it would make you loopy. Also, I knew a girl in high school who had pica. She would go to In-N-Out and order animal fries and then dump the fries on the ground and start devouring the cardboard fry container. She claimed it was the best tasting cardboard. I'll take her word for it. 3. I saw a TLC episode where the woman was eating her late husband's ashes. She got some on her finger once and instinctively licked it off, and she kept doing it and never stopped. The reason she sought help, you ask? She was afraid one day she would run out of ashes to eat and her husband would be gone forever. She just needed to make sure she had a little bit left to keep. The forbidden fun dip. 4. I'm addicted to chapstick. I can't go more than 3 hours without applying it. I think my lips are relying on the chapstick now because they get dry so quickly, and it feels like nails on a chalkboard when they do. I can't focus on anything else besides my lips being dry until I get some chapstick, lol. 5. My ex's flatmate. She would routinely pull her hair out and eat it. She said she didn't even realize she was doing it. I would say to her every few minutes, "You're doing it again," and she'd snap out of it. Would do this multiple times a visit. Some people do it so much that they get bald patches on their head. 6. Rocket League. I'm not even joking. A guy in his 20s playing up to 8 hours a day. He used to be super social, became a hermit pretty much for 7 years, would pretend to be sick at work so he could play 3 days straight, lost his whole social life, spent New Year's every one of those years sitting in a dark room with windows covered playing that game. I tried to get him to stop but never worked. 7. I used to be addicted to chewing on ice, or maybe obsessed. I would bring a cup full of crushed ice with me everywhere. When I went to the beach I would just bring a bag of ice from the gas station and sit and eat it. I stopped for ages and then became temporarily obsessed again during one of my pregnancies. I was checked for vitamin deficiencies both times but nothing came up. 8. I used to work with a girl who would just chug liters of strawberry milk. Every time I went to the toilet after her it stank of milk. She was eventually diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and gave up the milk, briefly. 9. Smelling random objects. An old friend of mine was secretly addicted to smelling everything. And I mean everything. I once had a sleepover with her and caught her sniffing my calculator. It was the weirdest thing. 10. Chronic cheek biting. I just can't stop biting or chewing the insides of my mouth constantly. 11. My mom likes eating rice. Not the boiled, just raw rice. She takes a handful of them, watches something on her phone and eats raw rice. A sign of iron deficiency.